Okay, I'm not sure if people remember, but back in 2011, Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis came out with a phenomenal romantic comedy called Friends with Benefits, and in that exact same year, Ashton Kutcher and Natalie Portman, for whatever reason, thought, hey, we can make the same movie and probably have the same amount of success. Well, that definitely was not the case, but we have the same situation going on here this year in 2023, just in the action category, where in earlier March we had, well, in late March we had John Wick Chapter 4, and now in late April, literally a month later, we have Sisu, the Finnish John Wick, coming out. And this, however, is an example of how to do that correctly. So Sisu, thank you so much, and ladies and gentlemen, let's get on to the review. Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and look, this is my review for Sisu, starring Joma Tomamilia, Mimosa Willamo, Axel Henny, and Jack Doolin, and was directed by Jalmari Helander. I'm so sorry, I had to read that off because this is the first time I've ever heard of these actors, and it's the first time I've ever, well, I'm pretty sure I've seen Axel Henny somewhere before, but other than that, this is the first time I'm hearing a lot of these names, and I had to read that off. There was no way I was going to memorize that. But look, either way, like I said, guys, we are following the Finnish John Wick here. This guy's from Finland. He is basically a very old guy who was retired from the war. He's living in the Nazi times, or basically living in the World War II era, where Nazis are still trying to reign supreme, yada, yada, yada. He's trying to live in peace. What happens is he stumbles upon this gold, wants to turn that in, tries to make his travel to do so. Nazis find him. They decide, hey, let's bother this old guy, and find out that that's a really bad mistake. You got to stop bothering people you don't know in the middle of the road, because then this guy ends up being a Nazi killing machine. And honestly, guys, I was thoroughly super entertained throughout this entire film. I mean, first of all, look, if you're not sold on the concept of another Finnish John Wick, and hopefully you guys understand when I'm saying Finnish, that's like Finland talk, that's like the Finnish John Wick, but either way, look, if you're not interested in another John Wick-esque movie, just watch the trailer for this movie, and I promise you, your entire thought process will be, reversed, because the trailer for this thing is ridiculous. The trailer for this movie had me sold immediately. I think it took maybe 40 seconds into the trailer itself, but the trailer itself is absolutely amazing. It will sell you on the concept of this film. And this film, I will say, after coming off the extreme highs of John Wick Chapter 4, where they were throwing thousands amongst thousands of enemies at him, this is a very more grounded movie. This is honestly back to the step one of John Wick, basically, introducing the character himself, not giving him too many enemies, because you still need to know, who this guy is. And essentially, what I absolutely adored about this movie was the performance by the main character himself. Sisu is not the character's title's name. Sisu is like a way of life, basically. Basically, when you're pushed to the very end, it's a Finnish expression where when you're pushed to the very end of hope and you have nothing left, and you have to basically turn on your survival skills. That's what Sisu is. But the main character's name, his name is Atami Korpi. That's the guy that we're following. And the actor that plays him, Jorma Tomamilia. Look, I'm going to be butchering that name a lot. I'm just going to call him Jorma. Jorma, the guy that plays our main character. Look, this dude had a maximum of maybe 5 lines, if that. And he did such an amazing job with his physical performance itself. There was a lot of physical things that he needed to do in this film to make us feel his character, to make us feel his passion, to make us feel his motivation, to make us feel his grit, to make us feel his just urge to never give up and never die. He really had to do a lot of physical things in this movie to make us feel how just immensely motivated this dude is to survive. And I absolutely adored that. I mean, honestly, yes, John Wick is not a man of many words either, but this guy legit had 5 lines in the entire film. And honestly, I was just in shock of how much he just did not need to say. You can see it all on his facial expressions. You can see just a lot of things that he's expressing physically says everything you need to know about this character itself. I absolutely adored that. His physical acting himself. Look, the action set pieces. The poster itself explains this entire film. It's glorious carnage. I mean, this thing is it's bloody. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's not that over the top either. I'm not going to lie to you. Yes, there is actually, there are some moments that just make you go, there's no way. But the way they build up his legacy and the way they explain his character to you, just like the way they do in John Wick, the way that there's a whole scene where they're saying, yes, it's the Baba Yaga, blah, blah, blah. They have all that here in this movie too. Like I said, this is damn near a carbon copy of John Wick. It's just a matter of they're mixing, they kind of infuse other action movies in this as well. There's a mixture of Inglourious Bastards in there because we're killing Nazis. You gotta bring me 100 Nazi scalps. I need my scalps. And it's a mixture of Mad Max. So with those just all being infused into one film here, that just makes this thing absolutely insane, and it's just a phenomenal time at the theater, man. I mean, this dude is just going absolutely insane. And what I love about this film is that, like I said, after coming off the highs of John Wick 4, after throwing like thousands amongst thousands of enemies at John, they're not doing that here. They kind of try to keep this one a little more grounded as to who he's fighting, but they make sure the antagonists are hateful enough, because they're Nazis. We hate Nazis. I know they're Nazis, but I'm going to be saying Nazis probably for the rest of the video because I can't get that out of my head. But either way, look, the action in this movie is absolutely ridiculous. The movie is honestly very short. It's only like an hour and 30 minutes. It's straight to the point. Honestly, in the beginning, it was kind of slow just because, like I said, it took... You don't really figure out that the guy's not really going to say much until maybe like midway through the movie. You just realize that he's not really a man of many words. I didn't know that in the beginning, and so the beginning kind of comes off as kind of slow, but it's really just introducing you into what the situation is. They're not really going deep into like his backstory or anything like that, and you don't really need that in movies like these. You're literally just here to watch an old man just kill people and go absolutely crazy. Well, crazy in a good way. He just has this urge to not die, and I absolutely love that. I love the way they explain what his motivation is, and they kind of make him different from John Wick. Yes, there are so many comparisons to him and John Wick's character, but they do still try to make it into its own universe. They try to make him into his own thing, his own character, and they do a very good job at that. So I really appreciated them following the same steps as John Wick, but not really in the sense of where we're watching the same movie. We are watching two different movies, just basically with the same objective: kill everybody that you see in your sights, which honestly just makes for a very fun time at the theater. What I didn't like about the movie, there's not really much I didn't like about the film. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I mean, I'm like, really, you're just walking in here to watch a guy kill everybody. Like, that's really just what this is. If you're not gonna have a good time with that, there's no point in you even stepping into the theater at all. Now, I will say this: John Wick has done it better. John Wick is still doing it better. John Wick is better than Sisu, 100% for me at least. John Wick definitely does it better. I think it's due to the fact that this guy didn't really need a gun to do a lot of his killing, and I don't know if I'm just more used to the gun fu stuff going on in John Wick, but this guy really didn't need a gun to do much of his damage at all. I mean, it was really, like, the kills were very stylistic and the kills were very, thought out. And the other thing that I liked about Sisu's character is he's a lot more analytical in his approach about like how to survive, what he's going to do, his tactics in getting away, stuff like that. John is more so like, we're just going to bust through the door and just, shoot everybody who's shooting back at me. This guy's a little more tactical in his approaches. But look, either way, this is a very fun time at the theater. There's not much I can say I didn't like about the film. I'm just here to watch an action movie. John Wick 100% does it better, but I will say Sisu is an intense, entertaining time at the theater. It's definitely one that you guys got to check out. And for all of those reasons and so many more, guys, I'm going to give Sisu a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Don't think I mentioned this in my review itself, but look, I do need to shout out that Asko Henny, the guy who plays the main Nazi commander, the main antagonist in the film. He was phenomenal. He was a great antagonist, made us hate him immediately, and honestly, like, he was just great antagonist. Just wanted to say that. They had a great villain. Honestly, yeah, that's just what it is. But look, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and so much more. I really do appreciate it. Look, this is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you.